street, and following that, there was a coup d'état that brought on Mamadou, Doumbouya. And something also similar happened. There's been a lot of democratic backsliding in West Africa of late. Of the 12 or so countries, a few of them, there's been an increase in the number of coup d'états in West Africa. Whether you're talking about Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, recently in Niger, and all of that, because of the fact that some of these leaders have sought to impose themselves on their population. Something quite dramatic happened, unlike all of these countries. A lot was said about the power of incumbency and all that can happen, when you're an incumbent president, the likelihood of you being elected and all of that, and some of these folks might not have said it openly, but then they talk, they were probably referring to all of the different machinations that could happen behind the scene if you're an incumbent president. But President, we are sought not to do any of that. Following the elections, even before the final declaration of results, he called on President-elect Joseph Boakai and congratulated him. But then he didn't stop there. He went on national radio and called for national unity and said, well, he informed the nation that he has called President-elect Joseph Boakai, congratulating him on his election victory. And then following that, he called a cabinet meeting and told his cabinet to prepare to turn over, Kwame.
Yeah, you were naming folks. You could talk about Mohamed Bazoum here in Niger.
In Niger,
from 2011, and at some point he was the darling boy of the West, and they didn't know what actually was happening locally. And then the military took over, and you saw what happened in Niger. Or you're seeing what's happening in Niger. With the ECOWAS sanctions, a good thing the military there didn't intervene, and it was the people's choice. We then moved to the situation in Guinea, right here, Doumbouya, as well, and one dictator was trying to perpetuate himself into office, and the military intervened, and now we have a coup d'état in the country. One good thing that admirer of the president would say that, and I know when we were in that meeting yesterday, right? It was the day before yesterday.
It was the day before yesterday.
Yeah. The president said one thing that touched me, that no one Liberian blood will be spilled at his expense.
He keep emphasizing that.
And he said that if an older man and statesman like Joseph Boakai.
Yes, that was a reference he made to Joseph
Boakai.
He said Joseph Boakai waited for his time.
Right. He could wait up to that moment. We also can wait.
Yeah.
And we're not bigger than Liberia. And that he called on everyone to, he insisted that we all prepare this turnover notes. There could be a possibility that, folks from the other side will be tapped. He said, whatever happens, make sure that you turn over government property in a more respectful manner and work along with GSA and all of that. And let's give peace a chance and see what happens now that we have a new captain on this vessel.
And Kwame, you just said something I don't think the press was privy to, which is the fact that at this cabinet meeting, and by the way, the cabinet meeting usually consists of the head.
The top ministers.
But this time around, he called on the deputies, the assistant ministers, but also the heads of autonomous agencies and all of those stuff. But the point you made, I wanted to just emphasize that. He said, he made reference in quite a respectable manner to his successor, his proposed successor now, former Vice President Joseph Boakai, President-elect Joseph Boakai, that he said if the President-elect now can wait all of these years and finally became president. He said we ourselves can wait.
Right.
He said the man waited and he deserved it. And so I called him before the election result were announced and congratulated him. And I was just looking at his body language.
And it's important to note, he said that gap to the announcement from NEC, because NEC was dragging their feet. He said how to come in. Because the nation was tense. Right. The nation was tense. It was tense. You could see you could feel the aura in the air, and it was just not good. It was just not good.
And those are the things I can quickly spill over, because there were reports coming in at the time of fights across the country. Isolated cases though, but not systemic. But those are the cases that can easily cascade into something completely different.
You're right, and you see what's happening now. The country now has drifted to tabloid and citizen journalism, social media for their news. Whether it is authentic, it is substantiated, corroborated. They go, they say, "Oh, I saw it on Facebook."
Yeah,
I heard it on Spoon. Versus I heard it on Elbc. And I listened to it. From the source directly. And so with all of these things that are happening, even in the case of that fatal accident in Liberia here, everywhere there's a black Jeep. This black Jeep.
At the time, anything happened, you said, we saw a black Jeep, a black Jeep King without plates. So it's never a green or blue Jeep.
It has marred our country to the point where even some prominent folks, the next thing they're calling people names and this black Jeep, and you only go and find out and so forth. But Buck, I'm so happy that we are where we are, and the world now is marveling at Liberia again.
There's something I want to read. It was written by this young PhD. I mean, in fact, he has a doctorate degree now. Ibrahim Yang. He wrote it immediately following the elections, and I think this is a lesson for a lot of people who will be reading. He said he wrote a piece from Liberia history. He said the last time an incumbent president lost their re-election bid was in 1877, when President James S. Payne of the Republican Party was defeated by Anthony Williams Gardiner of the True Party. Historians reckon that Payne lost largely because of his self-will, vindictiveness, and revengefulness. Payne was first elected president in 1867. He served his first 2-year term from 1868 to 1870. When he sought re-election in 1869, he lost to Edward J. Roy of the True Party during both of his terms as president, first from 1868 to 1870 and from 1876 to 1878. He only served one term and never got lucky to win a re-election. Therefore, this is the third time that a sitting Liberian president has lost a presidential re-election campaign. However, only two individuals have suffered this fate: President James S. Payne and President George M. Weah. President Weah is the first incumbent president in 146 years to have lost his re-election campaign. It first happened since 1877. E.J. Roy was also an incumbent who lost a controversial election. However, it is important to note that Roy refused to participate in the election in 1871, citing a constitutional referendum. He did not organize the referendum that extended the presidential term from 2 to 4 years. Roy's opposition to the Republican Party refused to honor the referendum they had earlier organized and forced through the elections. Their candidate, Joseph Jenkins Robert, a former president, won unopposed because incumbent President Roy said the election was illegal, so he did not participate. This escalated into an overthrowing of Roy and eventual violent death in November 1869. Anyway, so basically this is a piece of history. So it's not quite often that we have an incumbent president losing the election. So this was monumental that an incumbent lost. But to think about it, and I was reading the African Business Report. I've been reading a lot of different international reports, whether it is the New York Times or what have you. All of these folks are just full of praise for His Excellency President Weah. They've just been marveling at the level of that this is happening firstly in Africa, that he organized a free fair elections. And one of the things the president also said at that meeting when we were at the place there, he said he's been an advocate for free fair elections and constitutional democracy and all of that at both AU and ECOWAS conferences.
Yeah.
And so he had to be an exemplary of what he preaches. And so, and he also said that former Vice President Barker had waited. But then these international reports, all of them have just been so praiseworthy of President Weah, saying that it is exemplary, it is uncharacteristic of many African leaders, to the extent that long-time opposition leader of Uganda, Bobby Wine, who has been beaten, has been in prison, has been fighting Museveni for many years. He came up and praise. I need to definitely read what Bobby Wine,
you got that,
wrote. I am going to it. Bobby Wine wrote something quite complimentary of President Weah. This is a long-term opposition leader. He said, as we congratulate His Excellency Joseph Boakai on his victory as President-elect of Liberia, we also join the war in appreciating and commending President George M. Weah for displaying the kind of statesmanship so rare in Africa, on the African continent. He has not sought to illegally hold on to power like many do, and indeed graciously conceded and accepted the outcome of the polls. You, sir, have earned yourself a place amongst African noble statesmen.
Indeed.
Statesmen, that is, and set a great example. I hope other African leaders can draw lessons and appreciate that people must not die and nations collapse in the name of holding on to power. This is Bobby Wine, the major opposition leader in Uganda.
And this is the guy who, Bobby Wine will come, since then he will fly back, and then he will be escorted by the military. And they say, no, we're doing it for your own safety. The military will escort him, and they will surrender his house, and they will be there. They say, no, we're just mining you. We don't want somebody to come and hurt you and say that. I mean, there were all kinds of tactics just to keep the guy at bay. But, all these accolades that are coming up from across the globe for this president, if you look at it, you cannot be a peace ambassador, because you saw that ESP-wide award thing that was given to him by Denzel Washington at the time, presented to him. One thing the president said Denzel said that in the narrative, that Weah kept coming back, no matter what. These were kids that the folks gave them, evil man gave them guns. And he will now taking the guns back from them, giving them soccer balls, giving them, jerseys and what have you. And he's saying, I cannot go through all of this. And he looked at us and said, you guys are my lieutenants. If you think you didn't do your work well, because everything that we needed, to convince the people, we had it. If their choice is Honorable Boakai, then who am I to, stifle or tell the people that no, this your choice is not. But one thing he continued to stress is that Boakai, these elections were neck to neck. You do not win with less than 20,000 votes in a country.
In most African democracies, that would have been taken. That would have been steady as it is. In most African democracies, that election would have been taken.
It's a wrap.
20,000 votes.
And this is turned up over to you, and this is not a mandate. It's not even close to a mandate. And you win such an election. He continued to say that I told Omar Boakai, the president, that he should keep the peace. He should keep the peace. And how do you do that? Is by, uniting the country, bringing the country together. And I told somebody, President Weah doesn't take out a pair of boots and someone fills it. Today he stands in his own class as the only African, Ballon d'Or in that class. And no one has ever joined him, not the likes of Didier Drogba or Abedi Pele, Dankwa or Amokashi, all of these great players, Kocha, Eto, all of these guys on the continent were not able to join him, and he just won himself, a spot again that he sits all by himself. And if you talk about folks, but I mean, those folks like Abdullah Wahid from Senegal, they were able to, max their time out. And it's a good thing for our country. And I hope that politicians out there and those who are in the habit of hyping stuff, and that they will dumb it down, and let's give the old man a chance to lead the country, for the betterment of all of us.
I keep looking for this. I just wanted to look for in his first acceptance speech that he's giving to the country, he talked about I'm talking about President-elect Joseph Boakai. He talked about firstly he thanked President Weah for conceding defeat and being gracious in conceding and all of that. He also talked about his vision for the country, helping to develop the rules and build rules and all of the different stuff. But then there's something quite dramatic, something quite profound that he said that I think all of us should, take that away. It's the fact that, I don't get a quote directly, but he talked about there is no blue or green Liberia. Because if you notice, that's how we refer to the different political parties, right? It was by your background on social media. For instance, if you were to write a post on social media and you back George Weah, you're going to use the blue background, right?
Right.
If you're backing Joseph Boakai, you will use the green background. So people are not, the division was so stacked that everybody seem to recognize where you stand by the color of clothes you wear. When you wear green, people say, "Oh, no, I mean, obviously, know what I mean stand. I mean, that Joseph Boakai man." Or when you wear blue, they say, "Oh, I mean, that Joe Weah man." But what the president-elect is saying, and he's probably taking cue from his successor, being magnanimous and gracious, is the fact that all of those divides now are just superficial, and they're going to be broken down. That at the end of the day, it's just Liberia that we should see. That there is no southeastern, there is no north central. It's just one Liberia.
I look at it from a whole different view. Obama made similar speech. There is no blue America, green. That's how he came up to prominence. And then after that speech, that was delivered. But the thing is, we have two Liberia now. I cannot say, if you ask me from a pundit standpoint, I think Cummins lost the steam or air from his balloon, got sucked out.
Who's that?
Alexander Cummins, when he joined the CPP.
Oh, really?
Right. I mean that's what I feel. And because of that move and how he was treated at the courts, Liberia is drifting towards a two-party system now.
It is.
Yeah. And I cannot write him off, say he cannot come back, to make it, because before that, everywhere you saw ANC when, the crowds were still coming, and with his community engagements he were doing till he joined. But now talking about blue and green Liberia, at some point, once you win the election, you will have to govern. All of these, Facebook posts and all of that, you can go up to 6 months, maybe up to a year maximum. You're going to inherit everything your predecessor left with you. It becomes your own tea kettle. You're going to know where to pour it, how to pour it, and all of that. Then the citizens start to, because especially with the level of
expectation,
the opposition did a brilliant job, but can they deliver with the level of high expectation? We had similar situation, like that, and the people said no. You promised X, Y, Z.
The thing about transitions, and firstly, this is going to be the second peaceful transition. The first one we had was 6 years ago, in 70 years, by the way. So we're beginning with solidifying our democracy, our democratic credential increasing.
Bingo.
We're going to be having two former presidents roaming about this country,
right,
without being dead, because the other two former presidents were dead. Robert was killed, Dole was killed,
right.
Taylor is exiled and all of that. But ever since Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she's around, and people go to her on her birthdays, and what have you. President Weah is going to be around as well. So we're going to have two former presidents. That's a plus for our democracy. And I agree with the fact that the point you make about Liberia is moving towards a two-party system. There's going to be the Unity Party and the CDC.
Correct.
The election was split down the middle. It showed that the country is is heavily divided.
And
It's divided, and one side won by just 20,000 votes. Some other political actors and pundits will say that's not a mandate, but constitutionally, it is what the Constitution requires for you to be president of the country.
Because they don't have time to waste no more money.
No. It says 50% plus one vote. If you get 20,000 votes extra, that is the constitutional mandate that you've gotten there to become president of the country. So Joseph Boakai is the president of the country. You talked about Cummings. I want to be brutally honest here. There are three major political actors on the scene right now. They are George Weah, Joseph Boakai, Alan Johnson Sirleaf.
Why you mention her?
I'm just talking about the people that can wield a huge number of public support. The elections have shown. The last election, we had all the other candidates got about 2% of the votes.
Mm-hmm.
It was only two. Joseph Boakai, John Weah got more
from that of the vote,
and we know that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf also wields a huge support within the public. So for me, I think there's something I'm going to say that's quite controversial. I think it's only
she's Unity Party.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you?
No. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about in their individual capacity. I'm not talking about the party they belong to.
I'm talking about the party system.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. Okay. She's now on the scene anymore. She's 85 years old and going down the hill.
Right.
So let's talk about. You're talking about why Cummings, lost this team and all of those stuff, and whether he may make a comeback. I don't think Cummings is going to ever make a comeback.
You think so?
I don't think he's going to make a comeback. I just want to be honest with this. There are a couple of things that is not in his favor.
If he divorces himself away from that, because let me tell you, you saw the guy's numbers. You saw how people came behind him in droves when he started recently. But then I think 2 or plus years ago. But the moment that CPP thing came about and people started breaking away and he was seen as somebody who forged, they did a lot of damage to his brand.
There are a couple of things that are not in Cummings' favor. Cummings is seen as a relative outsider.
Yeah.
By the Liberian population. That he wasn't around much. He doesn't have the name recognition with a lot of Liberians. And whether or not you like to state it or not, but there is this sort of a schism that exists within Liberia, where a group of people regard themselves as the downtrodden or the original owners of the country. They like to call themselves in a way that people can view quite derogatory, native and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but
Cummings is viewed as a relative outsider when it comes to that. That's one. Two, there is this charisma thing. I have said that many times. Cummings doesn't seem to, in all of his different engagement with ordinary people, he doesn't seem to connect with them more on a social and personal level. Whenever he's engaging these people, he seems a little bit distant.
It might be. I don't buy that. I differ because if you look at the president, right, the president-elect, he connects on a more fatherly.
Yeah, but that's connection,
right? That connection.
He seemed to connect more with rural population people, because that's his background,
right?
George Weah connects with the urban destitute, the young people. Yeah,
he's one of them.
Yeah.
The mistake that Cummings always makes is that every time he loses election, he goes away.
Yeah,
he disappears. He disappears, and which is not a good thing. You have to stick around and, like you said, let the people see you and get to know that you're one of them and all of that. But as Liberia moves forward, and if we should turn to a two-party system, in this country, especially knowing us for what we are, and it's going to be tough.
How?
In the sense that if you don't have a president like George Weah, like when we won, the president looked at it like, even you have members of his party was going at the president because he was incorporating people from the other side, a bulk of them, and that's not what you're going to, I don't want to jump the gun, but that's not what you're going to see, because there are a lot of folks who came together, a microcosm of, folks from the diaspora, it was a whole cocktail of, different demographics, people who were also quietly not happy with the government or with some of the government officials who thought that they hurt them, and they quietly just went undercover and was lending their support to the UP, and it paid off. And after that, they started sprouting. You'll be like, oh, I didn't know Barker was on his other side. I didn't know, and all of that. But they didn't.
What do you make of?
They didn't pay attention.
What do you make of former Vice President or President-elect Joseph Barker? Now he's won the elections. Let's examine him a bit. Who's he?
Like I never criticized him. He's a statesman.
Well, I have.
Yeah. But what I cannot do that now until
you can't.
Yeah, I can't. But I'm saying,
you may criticize.
Like his government, he hasn't taken office
yet. Oh no, I'm just talking about, for instance, there are a couple of things we can talk about him. He's been around for quite a while. He's a
seasoned politician.
He's been a state actor for some time. Head of LPMC. He's been on several boards. Former Minister of Agriculture.
Right.
He was called on by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, served as vice president for 12 years. He presided over a few entities like the national lotteries, and a host of other different entities and stuff. He was president of the Senate.
So we put that on experience.
That's vast experience. So you would expect, so there's a huge expectation right now. Yeah. The public would expect. Somebody wrote a nice piece in the Daily Observer, and they sort of just lay out things that are going to happen. And the person said, this is what the person said in the Daily Observer. The person said, firstly, there's going to be huge expectation from the Liberian population,
the
voters. They would expect that in the next couple of months, prices are going to drop. Prices of commodities, especially rice, because that was some of the promises that they made, according to this pundit in the Daily Observer. He also said that civil servants are going to expect that the salary will increase. Because that was an expectation in the propaganda that they made to the public. So when these things stop forthcoming within, say, maybe 6 months' time, nobody going to remember that George Weah exists. Everybody going to think Joseph Barker is the problem.
I said that,
and so that is where expectation and reality are going to meet. Nobody going to talk about George Weah anymore. In fact, they might speak in quite glorified manner sometimes of George Weah. That's a Liberian psychic. That's what they do. When Ellen Johnson said, Ellen Johnson left, within 6 months, people say, anytime things were better.
Yeah.
When Charles Taylor left, people started to say, Charles Taylor time money were in the bar, people were doing this and that.
There was even a song. They kind
of 6 months from now, when some of these things, firstly, we just want to say that we wish the president well, and we know that he's going to put his economic team together and all of that. We know they have some experienced people within his midst, but American is going to be a little bit distracted now.
But you saw what
Senator Apollo and what have you.
You read what Connor said. That was just about he's going to live long, because the moment you mentioned his name, I was thinking of mentioning.
Okay.
Right. He had this post that he was telling his guys to dumb it down, that campaign is different from governing.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, hold your horses, get them back in the barn."
Yeah.
It's different when you pick up when you start to govern. Now it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. I saw social media posts. I don't want to say with who, but some of the prominent guys from UP are saying now. One of them wrote, him, but I can't say his name on air, that I'm not going to be the dump truck that built the mansion, and I'm not going to pass in front. Most of you never trusted that this team would have won. Yeah. So especially when we were opposition with all the numbers that were behind our Go campaign. I never saw the day that the president would have won, and African leaders would turn out power and all of that stuff. We were living in the past till we saw that happen. And the good news is that the old mom, she bowed out, with respect. Same thing the president did. And we pray for a better health for this leader and a sound mind. That's one of the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because at running to 80 years old, I mean,
let me just read this thing. This notice from Lieutenant Dole. He wrote, he said, in January 2024, the Republic of Liberia is poised for the inauguration of President-elect Joseph Numa Boakai and Vice President-elect Jeremiah Pankun, marking a pivotal moment accompanied by high expectation from the Liberian people. The prevailing optimism is underscored by their anticipation of swift and effective solutions to address pressing issues. Central to the public expectation is the desire for the reduction in the price of essential commodities, such as a bag of rice, with the hope that it will revert to the previous price of $12. Additionally, there is a collective aspiration for a decrease in the cost of gasoline to LD $540. The populace also looks towards forward to salary increment and effective removal of illegal drugs from the market. Liberians are expecting all of these to be resolved in 6 months. However, the feasibility of these aspirations is in question, given the historical reliance on propaganda and unfulfilled promises in Liberian political campaigns. Acknowledging the historical impatience of the Liberian people, there is a realization that unmet expectation within the next 90 days of an administration may lead to disillusionment and a surge in discontent, reminiscent of the sentiments expressed during the previous administration under President Weah. Inevitably, comparison with the preceding governments will emerge with statements like, "Weah government was better," gaining traction. The political landscape may witness shift, exemplified by figures like Martin K. and Colley, known for changing allegiances, aligning with opposition forces. This time, it will be against Ambassador Joseph Numa Boakai and the Unity Party. A notable figure in this forecast is Mr. Henry Costa, whose return to prominence is predicted, viewed as a hero by some for his standing against perceived oppression by the Unity Party. Mr. Costa's resurgence may contribute to a challenging political situation for Senator Abraham Darius DeLong in 2029. After the Unity Party failed to meet the expectation of the Liberian people, Senator DeLong's political choices could be viewed skeptically. Whether he supports the Unity Party or distances himself from it, impacting his future political prospect. If he continues to support the Unity Party, he will be perceived as a corrupt regime collaborator after several damaging podcasts from Mr. Costa. This is somebody who's I read that political forecast for Liberia from 2024 to 2029.
I read that piece, but I think it is everything that is preempted now. I don't look at it now until
some other people could say that's wishful thinking.
Right. Let the old man
sit
down.
Yeah, do it.
And then we can judge him. I saw this post from what the girl named Bernice C. Clearly, and she said, she was teasing the current president like that in the first 100 days. That no car will hitch in the mud, and then she came out. She said, "No, but the first 100 days dry season, so we got to push it to 180," and and so forth. But however, we wait to see, that things be the way they are, because for you to govern Liberia now with the kind of level of expectation that is out there. I don't know how they're going to make the population to tell what kind of message they're going to send to them, because now it's no more going to be about President Weah. It's no more going to be about the CDC, and it's no more going to be about the opposition.
And like I said to you earlier, 2-3 months from now, people are going to forget that the CDC government exists. Everybody's going to be looking up to the Unity Party government. People are they have most of their frustrations now, or their commendation, because obviously there's probably going to be some commendation, because the new leader, His Excellency, President-elect Joseph Boakai, might make some moves. Who knows? And so he might get some plaudits from both Liberians at home and the international community and all of that. So he's going to get credit for that. But the way the expectation is, and I was talking to a colleague within the Unity Party. He said to me quite honestly that it seems as if it's going to be quite difficult now for any government to really, easily get a second term, because the population now is so politically conscious, that people hold you to high standards, that you must do X, Y, and Z, giving your promises and all of that. So governments will be required to work in double folds to ensure that their promises that they made during the campaigns, are met. And that is where the difficulty is going to lie. But let's open the lines and hear from you. If you want to participate today, a couple of things I just want to say. So we have incumbent President George Weah, who's made a gracious concession to His Excellency President-elect Joseph Boakai. President-elect Joseph Boakai is the president-elect. And so this is time now. We're making a call now for national unity, and we are making analysis, of the situation, the possible forecasts ahead, and all of those different stuff. We aren't engaged with partisan politics anymore. That time is over. We've passed that. And so if you're calling in, we expect that maybe you will make a contribution to all that we're saying. The president-elect is an authority and must be treated with deference under the laws of Liberia as prescribed by the Constitution. He's been declared president-elect, and the president of the country, His Excellency President Weah, has already recognized that fact. So let's just establish the ground rules. 086-5615-37, 086-5615-37, or 0770-728-893. Those are the numbers you can call us on this morning, and let's you want to participate. 086-5615-37. 086-561-537 or 0770-728-893. Let's talk to this first call. Oh, that call is gone. But go ahead, Kwame. Oh, let's talk to this one. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Your name, where are you calling from?
I'm Morabi Kamara calling for Pacos Ale Community Congo Town.
Yeah, Maurice, go ahead.
Yeah, this is my point. Let me appreciate President George Weah for making such a good piece of comment. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling the incoming president, Ambassador Joseph Boakai, please, let us get rid of this thing that any president candidate will refuse to audit the other government. We will go against you if you refuse to audit this particular government. Let there be audit.
Okay.
Let there be audit. We can't continue using that other way that any government can, for the sake of peace, let's leave it like that. No.
But let me say something. Yeah, you there?
Yeah.
So audits are conducted every year.
Almost.
They do audits all the time. It's not like the General Auditing Commission is sitting there and not doing audit. They're auditing all the government ministries and agencies, the Ministry of State, the Ministry of Information. Every year they're auditing them. So maybe so I don't know what kind of
LCC, our year when LCC was dissolved based on the audit that people bring up.
No. LCC was not dissolved based on audit. No. You got to get the fact right now. As we speak, let's talk about the fact.
Yeah, leave that guy.
No. Let's educate him. LCC was revamped in an attempt to increase their powers. Now LSCC is given the power now to prosecute. They don't have to wait for the Ministry of Justice.
Right.
So if the General Auditing Commission conducts an audit, submits to the National Legislature, the GACC's culpability, they have the power now to go and prosecute. They don't have to go and wait for the Ministry of Justice. The Ministry of Justice, who is under, at some extent, independently, but some extent under the supervision of the president, they don't have to wait for all of that. They can do it. That's what that's what the president sought to do with the GSC. They're not dissolving it.
The LSCC.
The LSCC, sorry. So thank you. Let's talk to this other caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Clarence, and I call from Bon County in Banga.
Yeah, Clarence, go ahead.
Let me first commend you people for the analysis this morning. I must admit I supported the president, Ambassador Joseph Boakai, but there's a problem that the Unity Party may face. Like you were saying, brother, there are a lot of people who collaborated with us from different political institutions for us to make sure to get this government out. And all of those people, one way or the other, they come on saying our African politics that say, you know, you should do something for something. They want certain seats into the government.
Yeah.
So for some of the young people who have high expectations that because Ambassador Bwaga have become president, they're all going to have a job. I think they're just getting it wrong. And I must be crystal clear here this morning. I see that the Liberian people might go against us because
why?
So the thing is that the expectation of the people is very high. We saw that when President we had won, people felt, you know, Nehemiah, Messi, they were just going to come into Liberia, easy to feel like Jeremy or all of them. Yeah, but people, you saw it. And even the old man are not taking shit, but like in the central region in Banga, people continue to tell, oh, you guys do what the point is, you know, behind, you know, the election Ambassador Bwaga, we just start working, like if I start getting on something. I was like, but man, look, we stay hard to transition process, stay going on, if you guys have any kind of expectation. So all you're saying there are quite correct, and I see a future problem for us as a sitting government, and we might lose the feeling, you know, of attention from the citizens that we're heading into the election, because mind you, that margin was very tight, I must admit. It was very tight. It's not a kind of margin, you know, that we can rely on our government to say, oh yeah, we had a mandate of the people. We need to do more to make that 20,000, you know, to go up even to 200,000. That requires a day-to-day what we are sleeping. So Ambassador Bwaga have a serious law and the government have a serious law, but thank you guys, you know, for the independent analysis this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is exactly what we expect from everybody this morning.
So powerful.
So this is a man who said, I voted for Joseph Bwaga, but this is what we're going to face, X, Y, and Z. So let's be honest in our analysis. And that's exactly what we're attempting to do this morning. We ourselves are so searching. You know, so let's talk to this caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you got to move away from the radio.
Away from your radio.
Right. I'm just Kamara calling from Brussels.
Okay, go ahead.
Kamara, go ahead.
The only way, all the promises and expectations that Joseph is president is making that you achieve, one, all the representative senator money, their salary comes to $1,000.
You don't call it that again? This is your president. We already call the people salary down small. You want president-elect Joseph Bwaga to call it down again?
I'm talking reality and fact. If they decide to make $1,000 as representative senator-elect, then the presidency, the office budget should be cut down to $5,000 per year. All those things that we are expecting, president-elect will deliver. You will deliver it. But alone, their salary is huge. Even $10,000 in this type of economy. No way. You will not have people will not be met.
No, but people voted because they expect their salaries to go up, and you saying they should cut salary again?
I'm talking about a representative.
No, it's a senator representative. But even for those people, the previous government had some, had some little harmonization affected them too.
Yeah, it did.
It affected them. It affected them. So you're saying, so what you're saying is that they should cut it down further, but that's not what the government promised. That's not what the president-elect promised.
And the president-elect should use a vehicle in a call for less than 10,000 United States dollars.
But the vehicles already there. Those vehicles are already from Lntv. They're just there.
Another thing that happened during the course of the week that we didn't talk about is the fact that the EPS are already deployed at the president-elect home.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so let's
get the callers' view.
Let's take more callers. Good morning.
Enough callers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Henry Madu, and I call from my resident in Powell.
Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to commend the president for his concession.
Okay.
Because some of our witnessed a lot of election, like what happened in Gambia.
Yeah.
You know, when the election was between Gambia and Yahya Jammeh and Barrow won the election. Yahya Jammeh conceded. Then the next day he said no. Yeah. He was cheated.
Yeah.
So it caused a problem in Gambia.
And at the time, troops had to come from Senegal to remove him.
So what our folks are doing, like the citizens, they're trying to call for recount. The president already considered if we go for recount, it will be serious problem for our democracy. I just want to call our partisans out there to let the recount. Let's just accept the result because our area have agreed to it, and it is true that he lost the election. That's why he considered. Again, so I don't want to call Liberian people to remain calm. Let us see the next governor what they can do for us.
Thank you. Let's talk to this other caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you got to move away from the radio, please.
Okay, I'm away from the radio.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Yahweh.
Okay. Your name again is? You were breaking up.
I'm from the
Wow. Adeline, I think she said, but you're breaking up really badly. Let's try. Yeah, let's try. Go ahead.
Okay,
We're having, this is the only female we've had so far. I really want to talk to her.
you said not getting me?
Yeah, we're not getting you. You're breaking up.
You getting me now?
Yeah, it's better now. Go ahead. Okay, no, we can't continue. Let's talk to this other caller. Good morning. Okay. Good morning.
Yes, yeah, good morning.
Your name, where are you calling from?
And I call from, my name is Micat, and I call from River G County.
Yeah, Fuka, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm going to think President we are, for what he did. But I think President we are wise enough. Because if you look at what Joe did, that what brought war.
Yeah.
So I think he thought
1985.
Yeah.
And then Hammer was the election commissioner then.
Someone would have done the same thing that he did. I want to congratulate him. But as a media practitioner myself, I'm a little bit baffled about the way we run our state broadcasting corporation. I think it should become a state broadcaster because the way we carry ourselves during these elections.
Okay, we're reflecting now on the new leadership. Let's move on. There's a lot of time for reflection on what might and might not have happened at this stage. We'll move on. Good morning. Okay, let's talk to this other caller here. Good morning.
Okay, still.
Hello.
Okay, we have.
Good morning.
Yeah, let's take.
Okay, let's take.
Let's take the CEO of NOCAL, Miss Safwa.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, go ahead. Your contribution. What do you make of this whole election?
Good morning. The highlight of the election is the fact that it was a peaceful process.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I must again applaud the president for his role he played in maintaining the peace.
Yeah.
It was a close call, and I don't know if anybody else in Africa would have done that, but he set a precedent and he has set the bar high.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who have, who will probably emulate him or will have to, but he will always be referenced.
Indeed.
So it's a great thing. I mean, it wasn't what we expected, but what it is in Liberia is the bigger picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you recovering from this defeat?
Well, you go to every process, to every competition, every, whatever it is, with one or two outcomes. Either you win or you lose.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, we did not expect that. I was quite shaken the first day, but I've recouped. I know we did a great job as a government, and we definitely look back to come back in 2029. We will be here, and we'll definitely, hold people's feet to the fire. So, of course, I mean, it's a hard thing to accept, but we have to accept it for the sake of Liberia.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have to look at the bigger picture and realize that Liberia is bigger than all of us, all of our jobs and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, when I look at it from that perspective, I accept it and say, you know what, let's move on. At the end of the day, Liberia is all we have.
CEO
Nokal. Let's talk to this
Right.
caller from overseas. Good morning.
Yes, hello, Minister Boyka and Director. I just called to say thank you to you guys for the show. We did everything we could have done for our end for us to win this election, and we.
Wow, this is going to be a little tough. He's calling on WhatsApp, and there are local calls coming in. Okay, well, it's going to be tough to continue.
As long as not.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah. Your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is J. Henry Nan. I'm calling from Fennel.
Yeah, Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been a silent listeners I'm a listener rather from 2018 on Elbc.
Okay.
But I'm actually obliged to call this morning because the analysts, the idea you guys are sharing with us, very, very cardinal. But to a point, first of all, I want to tell you guys thank you
You're welcome.
to LBC and to the president of the Republic of Liberia, my father. I call him my father because he took care of me in Abidjan. But having said that, he has set a precedent.
Oh, we lost that guy.
Wow. You can call us 086 61537. That's 086 561 Let's talk to this caller right here. Good morning.
Good morning. Let me say good morning to your colleagues. See you this morning.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Newton Jai, and I do join you from Tribo Sorogan District here in Maryland County.
Yeah, Nathan, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Let me first of all join other world leaders to commend our dynamic outgoing president for his generosity in accepting the election result. And I also want to caution other fellow Liberians that our expectations should kind of be limited. I think we have to allow the newly elected president to breathe at least a little fresh air.
Give breathing space.
And celebration for the country. I really give a little time, breathe some fresh air. We know the expectations are many, and they will all be there with gradually. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
You're welcome. Let's talk to this other caller. We're going to take as many calls as possible because people wanted to talk for quite a while, but they haven't had the opportunity. So let's hear from them. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, your name? Where are you calling from?
Dion Toto from Sino.
Yeah,
wow.
Go ahead.
I just want to shoot to a point. A guy talked about selling some money cutting down in Liberia by the incoming president.
Yeah.
What was about the community college president and the vice president were making $5,000 in United States.
Everybody get out of the problem.
United States. So those people that making that amount, that $5,000 group money got to cut down because they are not alone that got to endure in this country and in this world.
So let me ask you something. Sano County Community College people making 5,000, yeah?
Oh, as a lawyer, I don't say it's per se. But in
why you stay? Why you stay?
I'm saying a guy called, he said the community college, and let me see, the senators' money should be cut down to 1,000. And what's about this is why I'm trying to come in. How will the president manage with the others that are making 5,000, which those are in the community college, the president and the
So my point is, where do you call from? Sino, right?
I call it Sino.
Yeah, so the Sino County Community College people making 5G, yeah?
No, I'm not saying Sino County per se, but I say all the community college president in Liberia.
Anyway.
Making 5,000.
Thank you. Man, you want to say you get problem, man? I'm making 5G. Good morning.
Morning, brother.
Your name, where you calling from? Your name, where you calling from?
Edward Spencer and Joe and Interpol.
Hey, Edward Expensive.
Yeah, bro. One of my former admirers. I used to admire before you were capital temple and never admire you again.
Oh, you stop admiring me?
Yeah, sure. But anyway, that's not the issue. Is it Daniel Lewis someone in there?
No, Daniel, how do they call him? Kwame Nopa weeks here.
Oh, okay, cool. I think Kwame is one of the guys that I now support his TV, but it's one of the guys that I will really remember because that Liberian News Agency, he really refined that institution.
Okay.
He improved very well. Yeah, other authorities may not be pleasant to my ear. But again, he made some Trump.
Expensive. Let me ask you something.
Expensive. Just
when in election, the other opposition can go talk good about the opponent.
Mr. Waka, let me learn you.
Go ahead.
You know, again, I like the message this morning, right? I like the message this morning. I was shot. Mr. Waka is a brilliant. Let Waka on now. You hate him. Mr. Waka is a brilliant guy. Very brilliant guy. And I hope to see him back in the media. And if I had a close relationship with President Bouaka,
I may recommend Minister Bouaka to maybe be at LBC. You know, if a good guy, honestly, but we know what thing can happen. You know, so now, the one thing somebody to take bread for somebody more, and that person gonna protect that bread now. So all the messages you people brought, yeah, we didn't hold it against you for Liberia, and I encourage you to get a message I'm hearing from you this morning. I mean, well, you start the name, man.
Expensive. Let me tell you something.
How you got that name?
So beside that, but before then, you know the Constitution. First, this is the Liberian Broadcasting System, right?
Obviously.
And it subscribes to the laws of Liberia, and the organic one is the Constitution of Liberia, right?
Correct.
And the Constitution of Liberia gives a certain authority to the president, who has recognized a president-elect. And so the president-elect is the incoming president. He needs to be treated with such deference. He's not an opposition leader anymore.
No more.
And so he is the president-elect. And so when you sit on a state broadcast and talk about the president-elect, you must treat him with respect. And that's what we are doing this morning. We're not in
that here, the opposition here
campaign mode again. That time finished.
I agree.
Okay.
Let me just my recommendation to the new president. I know this will be good. Madam President Jamon should stay at LBC.
You want everybody to still let the whole comment just stay now.
Anyway, that's no recommendation. All right, thank you, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Spencer. Let's talk to this caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Minister Fufana and Kwame.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the platform.
You're welcome.
I'm Emmanuel M. Super Junior, and I join you guys this morning from the office of the Intellectual Class of District number 14 on this Rising Sun Learning.
All right.
Well, let me appreciate you guys for your analysis. You did well, Minister Bouaka and Kwame. Why propagating a message of the positive message of President Dr. George developmental we are. I am a supporter of this president. I am working President we are government. This is one thing of all who form our own intellectual group to support the president re-election. People say we've been paying scratch, but they don't understand the kind of connection. Because listen to all of you when you talk about president, we are creating connection within the people of the Southeast, creating connection with the common people.
Yeah.
We as common people, we see ourselves so much connected to President we are over having anything than Mr. Cummings, and there's one thing Mr. Cummings need to work on. I see him that he's going to be a potential strength in the future.
Yeah.
But to do that, I don't think we need to escape every time election is done. There's a recommendation from my
but in all fairness, he didn't leave the country after the 2017 elections.
No, when he said
he was here,
he just went quiet. Like
no, when I say leave, meaning he built himself around those photo Liberians from the US. And
that's the problem. Yeah. That's the problem.
Those photos Liberian from the US and
what is Liberian?
14 Liberian from the US.
No, he said fortune.
Okay, go ahead.
I said fortune. I've never denigrated any opposition person. I use the positive message of president. We have to have president. He doesn't denigrate people when you go for what is real. But we're gonna miss this president, and I have to give it up to President. We thought this year was gonna be the time we're gonna be incorporated into the system. But we have no regret in as much as President we has given us peace, because there were people standing on the fence to call havoc to this country. There were people standing on the fence to cause chaos. But at least I can wake up in the morning and go do my late teaching and get my lecture for my family. Right. We appreciate President we are with it. The incoming president will maintain the peace of this country, because the one message from the president, Mr. Bouaka. President we said this country was given to me in peace. From Manaseli gave this country in peace. And I'm also turning this country over to the president-elect in peace. I hope he will maintain the peace of this country, because the peace of this country is very, very critical. There should be a government of inclusion, and effectiveness, we're going to start calling on President Bouaka to give us jobs, because he promised the Liberian people it's going to be milk and honey.
The man even said that already. Anyway, okay, thank you so much. Let's talk to
looking for a job.
Let's talk to the caller. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. Let me say good morning to Kwame.
Yeah, good morning, buddy.
Yeah, this is Derek King, formerly of the national response and dissenting Arab people defender. Currently, the national response and attack team. Why is
How they call it now?
The men are propo.
No, national response and attack team.
An attack team.
Oh wow! And not defend again.
No, we're not defending now. We are on the offensive. Yeah.
They attack them now.
Yeah.
We'll let them get office go.
Yeah. For me, when I was here, President, we had the last 100 days in office when you have bring back our money in the issue of 16 billion, which you know there was no 16 billion that got blessed according to the current report. I mean, the report of course. All right. And, you know, and this is why we tell people, what goes around comes around. If you never thought about reconciliation, because I think President we are did extremely well. If you go at Ministry of Finance, in Jangaku office, the Controller General, the current Controller General, Jangaku did not dismiss anybody. If you go to Jeremiah Saki office, Jeremiah Saki did not dismiss anybody from your office.
Yeah.
Those young brothers, help people in Azure offices, not based upon partisanship, but they kept them there based upon what those people know on a professional level.
Yeah.
But now that we are hearing from our brothers from the United Party, and this happens, and we are saying, like my brother Topa said, he said, I inherited the country in peace from my predecessor, and I'm going to tell it over to you in peace. So peace is what we all want. But our expectation that President-elect Waka raised, we are hoping because he can reassure us why it is true that he has changed, and, you know, every rule to major rule. I want to take my small car to Sano County because I went through Sano. I came from Grand Crew to Sano, Riverside, onward to Monrovia. I saw the.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to more callers. You two can place your calls. We will take 5 more callers and then get back to the discussion. Let's talk to this one. Good morning.
Hello.
Your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Sam Dua. I call from Sano County.
Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Yeah, man, I want to say many thanks to you guys in studio for the show this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We are highly monitoring it. And one good thing that I see within what you people have been discussing is that the high expectation of us, we the citizens, the voters. Yeah, we know definitely that even if they have been asked to be in that seat, those things we expect, we will not be able.
But what were you expecting before you voted the way you voted?
Because what we expectation is from it comes from the politicians themselves.
I mean,
what are their promises?
Okay, what were those promises?
The promises they will make, like for example, after I take power, I'll make to reach $5 USD, and then within 100 days, I'm going to make all cars flyable, all roads flyable by any car. So if these things are not happening, that where you see people get to.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to Lawrence Baba. Lawrence from Foya. How is Foya this morning, Lawrence Baba?
Mr. Bugari, this is Baba. Thank you, and Foya is cool.
Foya is cool, eh?
Yeah, seriously.
You not see Siabondo?
Siabondo?
Yeah. No. There is a lady who they call Sia. I don't know how they call it. She was in front of Mr. Wishap. There's some video of passing on Facebook. Anyway, let's forget about that for the poor. Yeah. Anyway, let's forget about that before we're pouring trouble. But what you say the money for Foya?
But this morning, I'm listening to the beginning of the ending of the show, but like, first of all, the opposition were having so many promises. Mm-hmm. So they were like, we wouldn't call it for peace, and we that were outside, we don't say that we don't get around the government. We try to feed it, those that in power, that can get in power, with all of us that were not with them, but we all that like grandma be friends. 4 years, we were looking at development, but we all that would say, well, we're our father, our grandfather, so we can achieve the same Liberia. Thank you so much, guy.
Thank you. Yeah, let's talk to this other caller. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jane Gonganu.
Okay. Gonganu, you calling from Nimba County?
How you know, Mama? Don't stereotype the man.
I'm calling from Ganga.
Yes, I mean, I get it too. You see, how is Ganta this morning, Gonganu?
Ganga is fun. The only thing I want, everything that Prince Johnson called for, they must give it to him because they were laughing when the big people were coming from Nima here.
So what all he called for?
What did you call for?
Everything that Prince Johnson will call for. You want 5 ministry, you want 10, they must give it to him because the people were happy when the plenty people were coming from Nima here.
No, but at the end of the day, that the president, the people elected, the people that the president can make it.
The man that the people came from here.
No, that Joseph Waka, the people elected, he don't want to make that decision.
Okay, you're looking for trouble.
Oh,
Yo.
what you?
Yo, bad.
Gonganu, what you mean? Don't go. We're talking. Oh, you're the mess.
Okay, if I want to open the door back,
the man say you're looking for trouble.
He said, "If man want 10 ministry, they must give it to you." He said, "Because when the people were coming, everybody open their mouth while they were laughing, enjoying it."
Let's talk to the other caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh,
This is
no.
Emmanuel Keno calling you from Fuya.
Yeah, Emmanuel, the Fuyapo calling the money, oh.
I say from all across the country.
Yeah, when you try mentioning about Shabuno, just to make clarity, she's not around here because there are so many threats that have been going after her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so after the remarks she made, and also the last time after the election, there were some celebrations after we put all of our things together, thinking that the CDC were going to be in a lead. So then we had a celebration. Certain post was made. In fact, I made a post. A lot of comments up to now. They sharing it, all in all, saying like search of hope. But now
The in search of Siabondo.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are hoping that maybe the Unity Party folks are listening, and this is where we call for leadership now, that they need to maybe urge partisans in the area to not to.
It is now a secret. It's something openly that they are doing.
Yeah.
In fact, that post have been shared to many of their friends and like giving a lot of comments on it. So it's not a secret. And just go to the point also you have been discussing on this morning is something very good, and we just pray to God that yes, our Father, whom we yesterday, just as the brother was saying, that we're preaching development, and now we are going to preach Liberia to see as to how the development will be able to overshadow the entire Liberia, not to just only be speaking of Foya or any other place specifically, as others are thinking that yes, they gave the best vote, so in so doing they should be able to get ministries. So, but that's not what we are looking at. We are looking at the president-elect said that we're not going to look at blue, not at green, but Liberia. So thank you this morning.
Yeah. The president has said there's going to be no blue or green Liberia. There's going to be one Liberia.
Sticking with that lady, there was a guy who also was in that tie, in the necktie. He said that if President Weah wins, he should crawl on his knee like that. Remember that video?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, the
now.
president spoke about this kid who made that song "Heaven Sent," how he was bullied, at his school, because of that. I mean, people should lay off folks like that. I mean, that's not a cool thing.
You know what the folks do in America? Following the elections, the Americans can fight better elections. It can be even more critical. The people get under your skin, they get into your personal history, your pedigree, your personal pedigree, and all of the different stuff. They will turn you upside down. But that is the nature of election. It is intended. So if you can't stand the heat, don't get in the kitchen. It is intended to scrutinize the candidates. People are going to bring up all kinds of different details and facts in order to bolster the electability of their own candidates. And so those are some of the things that don't hold it. But so why would somebody want to attack Siabondo, for instance? I mean, she didn't back, His Excellency, the president-elect. She backed incumbent President George Weah. So should she be targeted because of that? If you're targeting her, you are targeting about half of this country. About half of the country didn't support President-elect Joseph Walker. Half of the country. And that is and it is a good thing that the president-elect recognizes that. And that's why he's sounding a note of reconciliation. In his first acceptance speech, he talked about the different divide and that at the end of the day, we are all one Liberia. Because if we had pursued all of that, maybe the incumbent president would not have given up his power so easily. We just talked about the fact that it is the first time since 1877 that an incumbent president has lost an election. So if you're looking at that's something, probably he would have been selfish enough to plunge this country into the problem. It happened in Guinea. It happened in Ivory Coast. It took the French military to attack the president, and a lot of people died. President George Weah didn't want that. He conceded even before NEC announced the final results when he realized that he never had a pathway to the presidency.
And Ivory Coast almost went on the feet during Gbagbo. You had the likes of Blake Goudet, youth wing,
and all of that.
And it took the French army, like you said.
It took the French army to intervene.
One of the things that is
Jala Griffey. Let's talk to the Director General here.
Talk to Griffey.
Jala Griffey, good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling from Abel.
Yeah. But, you calling from where?
I have them.
What you go do?
Where you go do, Abel? You're not going your fan quiz, so.
Go ahead.
The lady you just spoke of just now. When we're talking, during this yesterday we talked.
See Abondo?
Yeah, she's somewhere which I don't want to disclose.
No, don't.
She with you?
And then she tells me that Jala, I'm not safe. That anywhere she's not safe. She asked me the very thing we had the cabinet retreat at the mansion there. We spoke. She said, Jala, if there's any way I can talk to the president for me to lead this country better for me. Then I said, have you spoken with Abondo? She said, yeah, I've been trying to get to her. I'm not getting on. If you have any needs, you talk to her. And you can tell them where I am, better thing on this country, because as I speak where I am, I mean, do all day I can answer.
Wow.
She and her husband fled where, and he came to Morovia. The other day, we said some kind of call on your show and said they were on their way to Morovia. She was in attack around this other area while they were in the truck.
Wow.
So she's somewhere, she's hidden somewhere. And I know where she is. She has spoken to me. We speak every other day. But when I went to Foya at the time, they were very, very good to us. Every other day we were together. We went to places in that place campaigning for Joseph Jala at the time. So I know where she is, but she needs protection. Right now she says she's not safe.
Wow.
So any one of us who are listening right now, whatever, the last time for election, you said to me, Jala, I want to go to Thomas for affairs to live there because that place is fence where I live, fence, and the person bullied me. That video has gone viral.
And the thing about it, Foya has been noted for having one of the worst electoral violence during this election cycle.
Yeah.
So she probably needs to move away. But Kwame was just talking about the fact that you were there too. When Jala's gone. Kwame was just talking about the fact that when that even the kid who made the song Heaven Sent is being bullied on his campus.
The president had to change it.
So the president mentioned that during our meeting and said the kid is being bullied and how to talk to his father so they can change his school. So we need to stop this because at the end of the day, listen, it's 50-50. I mean, call it 50-49, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, but it's essentially 50-50.
Let me tell you what I did.
So it's not like a vast majority of the country decided X, Y, and Z. So and it's a good thing that both presidents have been signing reconciliation call. The incumbent, the president-elect. It's good that all of their supporters follow their example because we have to live here. Christmas is coming. People won't move past. Many people, let me tell you, on social media, for instance, they won't move past the election. They tell what our election been in.
I don't think, what we say in our Liberian saying, I don't think this Christmas will bore because a lot of folks out there who are in the U.S. And that support the president, they're saying, I had to call my cousin, say, oh, no. You're saying, everything okay now, so I cutting up my sandwich and all of that stuff. I said, no, but the sandwich got to be applied to us who going to not have a job. But let me just say this, Boyka, I had to leave my car home yesterday and then decided to take a cab. And I will take a cab from like Boulevard Junction. And when I get to Vamoma, I change a new one and then get into another one, just go down there, do the 360. And all the arguments that I was fortunate to listen to in this commercial taxi.
Yeah,
we're all balanced.
Okay.
you will find three, and the guy.
Look, librarians are quick to move.
Yeah, and the guy will ask me about, but what are you saying? I said, my man, me, I just in the car to listen, and I say I Jehovah Witness, I can't vote, and that kind of whatever I say. But it tells you that this president needs, he's a father, he's a statesman, he's a seasoned politician, and all of that, give him all of that, but age is not in his favor. And
I want us to talk about that. I want us to talk about that a bit. Maybe his possible election.
He's not going to be right. He's not going to be up 3-4 a.m. in the morning, and waiting to know whether that decision's going to be made. And there will be time where he needs to take his rest. And his lieutenants, and this caveat is sounding to them, that if you think that this president, came and became president with whatever sinister, thoughts you're having that will lead this country into anything that would damage his legacy, you're lying, because the electorates now and the country where it is headed to is a whole different stuff. When you heard the CEO, who knew if Samuel Doe, for example, when Taylor called for him to exit, had he exited, today he would be, hugging his grandkids, and everybody, nobody can just call you, say, leave your country and all of that. But like, if he would have had the second thought, and left the country, we wouldn't have been where we are today. But the country stays. It's like life. We all dance into this endless song. It is us that get tired when we die, but the song never stops. It's the same way. Liberia never stops. All the leader, we were talking about Joseph Jenkins Rawatan, that was 1847, and all of this different 1822, 18 whatsoever time. They're all deceased. We're gonna be on the stage. How do we want to be remembered when history is written? How do we want posterity to judge us as young folks? Let
me read a couple of comments.
We need to do a lot.
This one came from the person didn't mention their name. They say here that good morning. My name is we can mention the name. So they're going to mention at the end. My name is Matalin Cole from the RIA Highway. I want to say thank you to President George and we are for accepting the result and congratulate President-elect Ambassador Joseph Boakai for President, I forgot about the other small title. President-elect Joseph Boakai for his victory. The way forward, the coming government should reduce the tariff. The tariff or at the free port of Monrovia in order for businesses to come. With that, the government will have price control. Okay, so we're beginning to hear that a lot. Let me read this other one. The person says, good morning to all Liberians in and out of Liberia. I'm grateful this morning to communicate with all Liberians. Let me first extend my deepest thanks and appreciation to President George Manuel Weah for accepting the election results peacefully. Accepting the election result proved to the international community that indeed President Weah is a peace-loving man. I'm calling on all Liberians to put aside all political differences as election is now over, and this is a time that we all come together and support the peace and development of the country. Liberia is all that we have, and it is our responsibility to maintain the peace and stability of our country. Let us all stop the high expectation and plan of putting hands on deck to develop our country and maintain the peace. To end my message, I finally again say congratulations to President Weah for accepting the results. This is from Rense Bajolu, citizen of Liberia from Sina County. Wow. So this refrain is sort of you're hearing that quite a lot from a number of Liberians. They are commending His Excellency President George M. Weah. They congratulate the president-elect, but also commending. So a couple of things going to happen in the coming days, Kwame, and I want us to chit chat about that a bit.
Go ahead.
What I see going to happen. Liberians sort of move past a lot of different things. Something quite dramatic will happen here. Maybe one person that person may be embroiled into it and he's going to receive a lot of criticism. But then 2 weeks later, if that person does something quite dramatic, all of that different criticism is going to change and people are going to be empathetic towards that person. It's not that President Weah is to be blamed for some of the things, that they attribute to him. As a matter of fact, we were here defending that. But the president has done something that a lot of African leaders don't do. he conceded defeat. He congratulated his the winner. He went on radio, and now he's even organizing transition, making sure it's smooth and peaceful and all of that. Calling on his supporters. Some of them, having a little bit of disquiet and suffering from sour grapes and all of this stuff. They don't want to fully concede yet, but he's pushing them on. He should be the biggest loser, by the way, because he's the head, and you would expect that he will be more swayed by this thing. But he's like organizing the whole transition or whatever. What I see going to happen in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead is that Liberian going to think, but this man is so peaceful. He accepted the result. He's moved on, and X, Y, and Z. Look at that. Look at the kind of peace he gave us. Look at how the country is peaceful.
Yeah.
And X, Y, and Z. And George, we are a peaceful man.
We could cuss him.
Yeah, we
could cuss him.
We should cuss him man. We should get rid of it.
Nobody could touch us.
Nobody should touch us. But if you make the mistake of having some of those things that President we are allowed, for instance,
freedom of speech.
People used to get on the radio so early in the morning, just say the president this, the president that. You can say president man that, all kind of thing, which was quite unacceptable. But media used to carry him. If anybody were to make the mistake, because I don't think that's going to happen in any Liberia, because Joseph Boakai was part of Ellen Johnson's government, and that government was also democratic. But if some of the elements within the government, start to let down their guards, and people start going after other folks and what have you, that's going to be a problem.
Indeed.
People are going to forget all that happened on the previous administration. Nobody's going to be talking about the excesses of the old administration. Everybody's going to be fixated now on the new one. So 3 months, I suspect, 3 months to 6 months down the road, people are going to forget what. All of the excesses they blame on President Weah, they're going to forget that. They're going to be fixated now on what are the perceived excesses of the new administration. And like that pundit wrote in the Daily Observer, some of the things they're going to be fixated on would be, the person said they should bring down the prices. And we all know that is now possible in the next 6 months.
Look at this caller from Sino.
Yeah.
From Harper.
Yeah.
He's talking about, bag of rice will be $5. I mean, like, that's the misconception.
So I think they should manage expectations.
Right.
They should start to manage expectations.
They should.
So whoever they are coming,
and the caller from Gonganu, the guy from Ghana.
He's saying anything Prince Johnson want to give to him.
They want to give it to him because the time I were coming, all you were laughing.
So for instance, and something quite dreadful that I think I don't know what Joseph Boakai is going to. President Joseph Boakai is going to give it to him. According to the Front Page Africa newspaper, on yesterday's edition, they said that Prince Johnson wants a number of different agencies, but one of the agencies that I think affects this peace and stability of the country is the National Security Agency. Prince Johnson has not come out to deny that, or maybe he did and I didn't hear, but he has not denied what Front Page Africa wrote. And it is saying that Prince Johnson said he wants the National Security Agency. What do you think, Kwame?
This one is too tough for me. It's a tough nut to swallow.
And Gongano is saying we should give anything Prince Johnson wants to give to him.
Yeah, that's from Gongano. We have to establish his identity or whatever, or where he's calling from if he's not sent to call and pitch
a certain line.
Right. But I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Honorable Johnson is a God-fearing man, and I will think that he will want his name to be out there like that. And like I told you about that post, and the guy said, we suffer for this thing. Basically, that's what he was saying. We suffer for this thing, and now we're seeing different people coming to want to enjoy. And revolutions are like that. You who spill the blood, you're not going to be the one who's going to benefit.
Yeah.
And at some point,
you heard
that other color. Yeah, you heard that other color who said that, we got a group that are auxiliaries all across the country.
Yeah.
Because to beat a George Weah, this is more like a Gulliver and the Lilliputians, Gulliver travel story, where the Lilliputians had to wait for him to sleep, tie him up, and took their time. They drug him up and all of that. So you had all of those people coming from, tens of them, millions, if not, coming to do that. And that's what happened to to get a Gulliver like President Weah out, they had to get, a cocktail of all of these different demographics from all across the globe. You had the diaspora out there spewing lies and, doom and gloom, painting that Liberia is burning. You have other folks, you go in the place, oh, the country, but yet you go on Sunday, all the bars are filled to the brim.
Tonight,
right?
Tonight the bar's gonna be filled.
Go Friday.
Tonight's Friday.
Every Friday is Christmas. Even there's ladies' night now that I never saw when I was a kid coming up.
I know.
So this narrative, country heart, kind of where did the money come from?
Yeah.
Where you getting all of these Shintao empty cribs and all of that. But we wait at the time where we think the chicken will come home to roost in less than 6 months.
Yeah, and what were we talking about?
I said we were talking about the expectations.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, good. The point we're making about Prince Johnson should be given the National Security Agency, and every Liberian deserves all of the rights and privileges that are guaranteed under the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, irrespective of which part of the country you're coming from. So that is not in question. What is in question is the fact that our leaders need to do everything possible to ensure that the peace of the country is maintained, the stability of the country is maintained. And
but that place needs to be very neutral.
And that there are certain agencies that you can't just mess with.
Yeah.
The Armed Forces of Liberia, for instance.
But the Americans,
the Liberian National Police, the Drug Enforcement Agency, all of these different national security institutions, including the NSA, and all of that. Because given Prince Johnson's background, he might have transformed and all of that. I mean, we respect that. He's a senator now.
So he's a God-fearing man.
He's a God-fearing man. We respect all of those stuff. But at the end of the day, he still has a history of being a warlord.
Yeah.
And so we have to think about that when we talk about giving certain authority and what have you. But by the way, the Constitution of Liberia gives one person the sole authority, and that's the person that the people elected. And that is the president-elect of the country. That is President-elect Joseph Boakai. There's going to be no co-presidents. There's going to be no collective presidency. This is not a transitional government.
Right.
The president-elect was elected singularly along with his vice president. If for any reason he wants to make concession because of some other people supporting him and what have you, I mean, he can make those concessions. But at the end of the day, we're just calling on him to ensure that there are certain agencies of government that need to be the sanctity of those agencies for the collective good of the country need to be respected. Areas that, because one of the worst things that President Taylor did was not to ensure that he preached so much reconciliation that will ensure that his opponents, those folks that oppose him, felt secure to remain in the country.
Yeah.
And once you start having an exodus of Liberians, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Once you start having an exodus of Liberians, that's a major problem, because they're not going to remain out of the country for long. They're going to come back some way, one way or the other.
They start planning stuff.
They'll start planning stuff.
Yeah, we've seen this
one way or the other. They want to come back.
We've seen this movie before.
We've seen this movie before. So one of the good things that President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did was, for instance, when she became president, she brought some of those major actors of the conflict closer to her. The likes of H. Boyma Fambule, the likes of, some of those people, she made sure that they were closer. President Weah did the same. When he became president, he brought in some of the actors of the Unity Party. He didn't alienate them. For instance, to the extent that even the vice tender bearer of the Unity Party was brought in. The president was constantly in communication with the tender bearer of the Unity Party. Former Vice President Joseph Boakai, president-elect now. So whatever we're doing, however we want to appease our those who are collaborating with us, we need to ensure that it's for the collective good of the country. Because if you start having people chasing people, that trouble you're looking for.
Yeah.
That trouble you're looking for. Or if you start having people feeling so intimidated that they have to leave the country, they're gonna. The problem about Liberian people, 1985, they left the country, they came back, right? 1997, they left the country. They came back. You might not like how they come back, but they're gonna come back to the country. As a matter of fact, it is their country.
2000. 2000, 2001, and all of that.
They came back in 2000, 2001.
They came back.
And the ones that left the country in 1985, they came back in 1990.
Yeah.
So you don't want to, do things that create an exodus of Liberians from the country. Alienate people. And so far, so good. We like the notes of the president-elect.
If you don't give the guy a job, let him have a smooth playing field
in the private sector.
As a citizen, he shouldn't go there and say, "Oh, Kwame Wish, that Kwame Wish, he was working with we are government, your whole continue." And stuff like that, or but that's not what's going to happen on this old man.
That's not what I see. And I was talking to somebody yesterday. He seemed, we may say all about him, but he seems strong-willed. You can talk about, people say, "Oh, he's old, he's X, Y, and Z, and whatever." There's one characteristic, and now we can talk. And now we can talk about some of the characteristics.
It comes with wisdom.
The campaigns are over. President George Weah was our choice. He didn't win. We have a president-elect. We know some of the characteristics of the president-elect that we can talk about. It seems as if he's strong-willed, and so some of the claims and things that folks are making that we want this and X, Y, and Z. I don't think they're going to get it. I mean, they're going to make some concessions because obviously you don't want to make the mistake that other people may have bring justice. So I'm sure they'll learn from that, and so they're gonna make some concessions, but I don't think anybody's gonna give him the National Security Agency. I don't think so, or I hope not. I hope not. Let's open the lines again. 086-561-537. 086-561-537. Let's talk to this caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name, where are you calling from?
Thank you. This is Newton once more from People Settlement District, Maryland County.
Yeah, Newton, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Baka. Let me say thanks to Kwame and for the topic on the discussion this morning. I'm very much moved with the way you guys are articulating the issue. But I want to also again applaud the president, the outgoing president, for doing us a due diligence in accepting the outcome of the just ended election results.
Yeah.
He brought pride to us in Africa. But I want to recommend to the president not to turn the other plan of the incoming government to be a witch hunting. I think our president needs to be setting this. Thank you.
Yeah, but excuse me now. Where do you want the order to start from?
Yeah, the order should begin from this. It should begin from this outgoing government.
What about that one out there before?
The outgoing government refused to order the previous government.
Okay. But no report available. All right, thank you. Let's talk to Moko. But anyway, that's your opinion. Let's talk to other callers. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
We're doing well. Your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, the name is Professor Joseph K. Tayon. I call from Zwedru, Grangida County.
Yeah,
how's Zwedru?
Yeah, fine, man. Zwedru is doing fine. Thank you very much. Quickly, let me concur with, your analysis, and this morning I've been, following you. But I want to appeal to my son, the Secretary General of CDC, Honorable Koji.
Okay.
Everything is far behind us now, President. We have brought peace, to Liberia, so we should enjoy the peace and talk about reconciliation instead of, trying to involve a lot of things like there were cheating and all that. He's the Secretary General, and what I want you to know is that CDC is just on reset. It went on reset. Pretty soon it will come back. And you understand what the president said? He said 2029 CDC will come back. You see, so we are sending back, and it is time now for us to really reinforce CDC, restructure it, and then CDC will soon come back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You two can place a call 086-561-537 or 080-514-096. Let's talk to this caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Kwau Dam. I'm calling from Ganta.
Yeah, Kwau. How is Ganta this morning?
You know about.
Okay, go ahead, Kwau.
Okay, the thing I want to is a president. You were good president.
Which one? The one that not come in or the one that go in?
George Weah.
Oh, okay.
People they respected a man in the country. They pay our levy to Chikitu Patrick and move from there, my son. Because people were just so fast, people were happy. They put the radio on loud. Some are all can sleep. I put on there. I come to Pawata area. You wanna say some of all will know what we are doing for us. It was better. We voted for him. Now not everybody. So I tell you, we are thank you for the thing what you do for us, what you do for Nevadians. Everybody not grateful. That's all I want to say. They play whatever, my brother. People were used to put in line to go and go vote for Yeke because Yeke were used to call Jowia. You understand me? So, here Jowia man, a peaceful man, people disgracing man. Radio station is that. But God will bless him, man. Only now will be by money, oh man. I tell God, thank you for yours. But my point out body will be going making me sad.
Yeah.
Thank you for my children. Team will be better in future.
Waka, if you listen to these calls, and I want you to pause the calls for a minute. She was talking, and then I had the chills and the goosebumps and all of that. And it tells you, it just vindicate you from what you said, that this country is divided. To see that lady calling on Nimbayan, calling from Ganta.
Yeah.
And talking like that.
Everybody
she's
not go
adamant, and she's gracious, and she was kind of teary, and I hope our guys out there are listening, and I can call her a Joshua fanatic, and this is the situation. That's why if the president, or somebody said, the arrowhead, he himself is not calling for his people to calm down, somebody is like, it's like what's happening in Israel and with Hamas. And the guy said, look, Netanyahu, Hamas is an ideology. You can obliterate this entire land, clear everything out, but the mindset of the people, one person, will come back. And so we can't it's like they versus us versus them. And the good thing I like about Liberians, if I butter with Mul Ali right now in some little bar or cigar bar or stuff, you say, oh, Kwame, what's up? We always have this fake what's up and hugs and all of that. Yeah, indeed.
Fake?
It is, because the way we politics,
I think it's a Liberian way. I don't think it's fake.
You can't do that. You do that in the US, they'll take you out. You can't meet a guy and you guys hug and share beer. Another Liberian would not just poison another Liberian like that. It's not something that you find in our country, And even at the time we were,
but that doesn't happen here. That's what you're saying, yeah.
Right. It doesn't happen in Liberia.
Yeah.
But then the way we do our politics, as if to say we can meet the guy tomorrow and just stab him.
And we don't do that.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, we just make it seem as if we do.
It's more like an oxymoron. Like, we have to.
Let me read some of the comments, Kwame. This one says, you got to stop calling now. Good morning, my dear brother and friend, Bwaka Fofana, and to all peace-loving Liberians. Let me begin by saying that a very big thank you to President Weah for doing us a deal. Okay, I think it meant due diligence in accepting the outcome of the elections. But I want to appeal to the outgoing president not to turn the audit plan of the incoming government to be a witch hunt. I think a precedent needs to be set. This is from Newton Jar from Plebo, so they can.
Yeah, they all need to be educated about this audit thing.
Let's talk to this. Let's see this other one. This one says, "Good morning to you guys in studio, and also thank you for your analysis made this morning. What we want to see." People keep calling. What we want to see now happening is a better Liberia. People should stop going after their friends. All is over. The man who called from Nimba County, who said that anything Prince Johnson won, he must get it. If not, we'll see what he really means by that. 10 good guys. There is what? There's money. Okay, but this one is some. It's not too clear. This one is from Jacob Jabo. He says he's monitoring from Sino County. Yeah, a number of people sending in message. This one is. It says, "Hi, my people. When someone make a statement, we should look at it kindly. That James man who made the statement on the medium by saying anything Prince Johnson wants. Okay, well, I think everybody's kind of concerned about that.
Everybody's kind of concerned about this Gonga guy.
Yeah, this one is some Joshua crap, but I can go through it, all of that. But yeah, so Kwame, what do you make? Do you think? Let's talk about the prospect, because a lot of political pundits have been talking about a possible George Weah coming back. But a couple of things I wanted to say. So there's been all kinds of different concerns out there. Some of the folks were saying, well, if George Weah gets a second term, that's going to be it for President-elect Joe Boakai. I thought he was the opposition leader. That's going to be it for Joe Boakai, because age will be out of favor. So if he had gotten a second term, that would have meant 6 more years,
right?
And age would have been out of Joe Boakai's favor, and then the political scene would have been cleared of the likes of George Weah, Joe Boakai, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the 3 major political heavyweights right now on the scene. So maybe it would have given grounds to other people. So some of the guys were in the back waiting. There were some talks about Edwin Snow. There were some talks about all of the different folks. I think all of that is dead now.
Yeah.
All of that is dead now. So anybody who are playing machinations in the background, hoping that maybe the scene going to be clear of George Weah or what have you, all of the things are dead, because according to what he said to his cabinet official, he's going to be coming back in 2029. So imagine a George Weah in the opposition. Firstly, he's a populist leader. Secondly, the election results show that 50% of the country, about 50% of the country still wants him. Thirdly, he's a former president. So he's already has a lot of international contacts and this and that. He's not like the opposition leader of 2012.
He's like
or 2020 or 2015. He's a former president who's coming now into the opposition. If this man decides to hold the current government's feet to the fire, that's going to be really heavy. That's going to be big. And so, some other folks are beginning to look at the prospect of a Joseph Boakai re-election in 2029. So one of the concerns have been, Joseph Boakai already said that he's not going to run for 2 terms, right?
Yeah, he said 1
term. He said 1 term, because given age and all of those stuff. So for me, I'm just going to put this out there. I know a lot of people might disagree, but with Joseph Boakai out the stage, there's nobody of the political stature that can defeat George Weah. That's one. It's only a Joseph Boakai that can defeat George Weah. It's only a George Weah that can defeat Joseph Boakai. It's only Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that can defeat George Weah. It's only George Weah that can defeat Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And the same with Joseph Boakai, Ellen, and what have you. Those are the 3 political heavyweights we have in Liberia. All other people are feeble. I don't care how you call it. One county can elect a president.
No way.
One county cannot elect a president.
Never, ever. And even with the Nima thing behind what his name, you saw how Lofa went, how they voted. You saw how the numbers in Nimba went.
Yeah.
Based on what the president did.
Yeah.
We as officials of government of the president, we are to be blamed. We didn't do our jobs. We kept our windshields up when they should have been down.
Yeah.
We should have been in our community. We were hated in our community. And when I say we, there's no way we can. I know there were few who were.
Yeah, you mean us generally?
Yeah, generally.
You talking
right.
about.
So we didn't do what we needed to do.
And that was a major problem. In fact, the president cited that during the cabinet meeting.
Right. Yeah. And now I see some of my folks who I'm like, how do you now go places like Broad Street, to eat mami potted pepper or a cassava with coconut or something with a guy, when that's not what you used to do for the past 6 years? So we need to soul search, look into ourselves and be like, wow, how did we get here.
Yeah.
Because we never had it. We were out there, and like the president said now, that all of us, we're not going to be having these jobs or whatever is going to happen. But then, you're going to have enough time, to yourself. Now, fast forward, based on what you're talking about, the president-elect. If you look at the life expectancy of Liberia, it's in the 60s.
Yeah.
Right. And my dad always say, once you cross the 70, which is 60 according to the Bible, anything you have, anything above 70 is what God bless you with. Yeah. And it shows that our current president is blessed with age, and he's watching he's watching his grandchildren, great grandchildren. That comes with wisdom, and it's a good thing that you have a wise.
By the way, he celebrates his 79th birthday in a couple of days.
Right,
November 30th.
Right, to see that he's leading our country at that age and with the level of wisdom that he commands. All the nation can do is pray, because when we say authority comes from God. And the way you see things transition, it tells you that our state is saved, and it is our hope, because if you sit back and just pray that Joseph Boakai should fail because you are in an opposition, I think that's evil, because you got your kids here. It's like the guys who were praying back there. I had a friend who talk about war coming, Liberia, the country will disturb, and then every Friday he would send 10,000 for them to start building his house. So I said, but what are you doing? What are you sending that money here for? Because
all Liberians should be proud. All Liberians should be proud. This is a remarkable democracy. We've just put our democratic credentials on the map. We've gotten plaudits from the likes of the European Union, from the likes of China, the likes of Joseph Arab Biden. He's just sent his congratulatory message to the president-elect, but also to Liberians and the incumbent president, George M. Weah. We had a peaceful election. We had a transparent election. We didn't go to violence. This is one of the first time it's happened amid the democratic backsliding that is happening in West Africa. Several countries, have had coup attempts, either as a result of elections or leaders attempting to perpetuate themselves in power. Our own leader, who had the chance to have, extend his rule, accepted a result based on less than 1% of the votes, about 20,000 votes. But he said, well, I will not sit and allow one blood of Liberians to be spilled on my behalf. He congratulated President-elect, Ambassador. Okay, I said President-elect, I said Ambassador. So he congratulated President-elect Joseph Newman Boakai. And Joseph Newman Boakai has himself done the same, thanking incumbent President George M. Weah for conceding, but also saying that there's going to be no green, blue Liberia. There's going to be one Liberia. There's going to be no southeastern, northern, and north central and what have you Liberia. There's going to be one Liberia. And so we hope that all of the supporters, whether you're part of the blue team or the green team, all of them will take cue from that. That's all the time we have for today's edition of the show. My name is Boakai M. Fofana. I was here along with Kwame Opar Weeks. Join us again next week. We're going to be here, by the way, up to inauguration when they tell us the new government, and then new guys are going to come on the block. But that's all the time we have. Bye-bye.